All right, perfect. Well, so wonderful to see all these wonderful faces, even some smiles that match the sunshine that's here in Kelowna. So that's wonderful. How's everybody feeling? Bodies are feeling pretty good?
Pretty good.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. There we go. Saw some head nods. I saw a couple flexed poses. That means you're feeling strong and awesome. Love it. All right, and this is always the check we do. We can see me. There we go. Perfect. I can never tell when I'm close up. I have to gauge it. All right,
we see,
dream team.
your leg halfway down from your knee to your feet.
Shin down, hey?
You lost your feet.
Okay, I'll adjust that. While I just quickly adjust that, gang, make sure you've got your resistance band. You'll need that today if you've got one, and if you don't, as always, we're very adaptable. It will be helpful to have something with a little bit of weight today. So either you have a weight or soup cans or a water bottle, heck, even a bag of flour that's well sealed. You could use anything. Notice the well sealed part.
Yeah.
All right, now just have a quick look around you. Make sure there is nothing to step on or trip over, because we're going to get moving lots today. We're going to have a little bit more of a strength focus after our warm up. All those muscles. Woohoo! And then you should just be in either wearing some good sturdy shoes or in bare feet if that's what you prefer. I just don't want you slipping and sliding. So just be cautious if you are on some slippery floor. Carpet sometimes can put you off balance. All right, team, hand on your belly and hand on your chest. We always start our classes with a couple of breathing exercises. So the new one we've been working on is taking that breath in, trying to fill up your belly first and then your chest. So it looks like this. Fill up the belly and then fill up the chest. And then breathing out in that same pattern. Belly first, then the chest. Trying to breathe out through pursed lips. Go at your own pace. Breathe in through the belly, then the chest. Breathe out through the belly, out through the chest. Breathe in and out. Keep it long and steady as best you can. Breathe in through the belly, then the chest. Breathe out through the belly, then through the chest. Once more, breathe in through the belly, then through the chest, then out through the belly, out through the chest. All right. Try to maintain that steady breathing pattern, not necessarily the belly and then chest. That's more for helping you strengthening your lungs, but it's a lot harder to do once we actually start exercising. So now I just want you conscientious of trying to steadily breathe in and out through pursed lips. That's the key part. Now we're going to start getting some movement going. One arm goes out to the side and back, and then switch. Now really focus on maintaining that breathing pattern, gang. And I just want to quickly remind you some things that impact your intensity, meaning impacting how much oxygen your body needs. So if you're a little bit lower on breath or your oxygen levels, or having a tougher time breathing today, then you want to monitor how hard you push yourself. And some of those ways are the quicker you move, the more oxygen you need. The more limbs that move at one time, so getting both arms moving compared to just one requires more oxygen. And the range of motion. So meaning how far we move that arm requires more oxygen versus a smaller movement. Now, as you keep moving one arm at a time, let's get your opposite foot stepping out and back in. So touch your heel out in front of you as you move your arm to the side. And maintaining that steady breathing pattern. Now remember, gang, if you do get a phone call or you're talking to someone throughout the class or someone enters into the same room as you, just to put yourself on mute because we can hear lots and lots of things. And rest your arms there. Now we're just pushing one arm out at a time. Now, when you pull that arm back, I really want you to think about pulling that elbow back, squeezing that shoulder blade together with your other one. Good. Now keep pulling that arm back, gang. Now, as you pull one arm back at a time, we're going to lift up a knee. Now we're doing it opposite. As you pull the arm back, the knee lifts up. So start with both arms out. We're changing this up a little bit. Pull the arm back and lift up the knee, and then bring it back in front. Pull one arm back, lift up the knee, bring it back out in front. There we go, team. That's a little bit different, guys.
Yeah.
Moving that knee as we pull that arm back. Boy, oh boy.
Too many things to think about.
David's having fun already.
As you would have realized, I've been away, Joe.
We noticed. We've missed you.
Thank you.
And I know how much you love coordination. So when I saw you pop into class today.
That's my weak spot.
That's right. That's okay. That's why we work at it. There we go, gang. Now rest there. So now we're going to tap our foot out to the side. So feel free to allow that knee to turn inwards. Just be cautious because this is what's called an internal rotation at your hip. So if you've got hip pain when you go to turn that foot out, then feel free to just move that leg out to the side. But it is good for that mobility to practice getting that slight rotation, that slight turn in. You can actually test it on yourself. How far can I pull that foot out to the side? Mine's not very good. It feels a bit tight. I think it was all that standing on turf fields over the weekend. So now you can turn it out as you step out to the side. Again, within your limitations, but trying to allow that knee to turn inwards. So we're working the internal rotation of our hips. There we go. Now, as you tap your feet, if you are feeling really good, you want to add in a little bit of extra, your breathing's feeling good, then all we're going to do is hand goes out, up, out, up. Now, every time your hand goes up and down, it now has to move forwards. Okay, so hand goes up and then immediately goes forward. So it's up, out, and then you switch. Up, out, and then 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 switch. Up, out, switch. Up, out, switch. Up, out, switch. Woohoo! Well done, team. Yeah. That's challenging. Oh my goodness. Keep up that breathing pattern, even as you're thinking of 30 different things here. Geez, your arms are moving in different ways. Your arms are moving in different ways. So good for that brain. All right, rest there. So we got our internal rotation at your hip. Now we're going to do our external rotation. So kind of like when you have to put on some socks while seated. So you're just going to pull up that leg and down. So again, pretend you're about to put on some socks. Pull that leg up, that knee rotates out. And again, just be aware of your body. Your body's not quite ready to lift that leg up. Well, then just try to pull that foot slightly across. Okay, go within your limitations for now. Let that knee come out to the side. Let that foot pull in. There we go. Now, as your legs keep moving, your arms are going up 1, up 2, and then switch. Up 1, up 2, then switch. 1, 2, 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 switch. There we go, team. There we go. Remember just to do your best. These are all challenging exercises, and the goal isn't to do them perfectly today. It's to see how far we can improve over the next couple of weeks and months. I know exercising is a process that never ends, and that's why we make it fun.
Ah,
And rest.
Ooh.
Wow, well done, team. Boy, oh boy, let's get marching. Remember, you can be seated or standing.
Last week was the hard exercise.
That is a really tough exercise. You're right, because those hip muscles don't often, we don't stretch them in that way, so they're not used to moving in that direction. And those muscles aren't used to doing as much work. And then we did it for like 2 minutes.
Oh.
Happy Easter to all of you. That was my Easter treat. Getting your
Jill?
hips to complain. Yes.
Jill, how come my right leg is like having cramps most of the time than my left side, like getting tired all of the time?
That right side gets quite tired there, Carmen?
Yeah, especially when I go for my swimming pool exercises from intuitive rehab.
Yeah. Okay. Well, geez, there's a couple different things that could be, Carmen. So you'd have to rule a couple things out. Why don't you send me an email?
Okay,
At
and
the
then
end of
maybe,
class,
is there
and then
any
I can just-
exercise for that?
Well, potentially. It's hard to say if I don't know exactly what's going on, but I can send you a couple things to try out to help give you a better idea of what it is.
Okay, I'm going to send you an email.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome. Now, remember, gang, endurance is key here. So we're trying to see how long we can go for. But that means you have to adjust your intensity. This marching is getting quite tiring. Feel free to just move your arms. Feel free to just move one leg at a time, a little bit slower. Okay. You have to keep an eye on how you're doing and adjust. Maintain that breathing pattern. Breathing out through pursed lips is key. So think to yourself, how can I adjust this so that I can keep moving for 1 more minute without feeling exhausted? Remember, our motto is challenging yet doable. We got to find that fine line. There we go. So whether that looks like marching, moving all your limbs, that's going to take a lot of oxygen. There we go. Maintain that steady breathing pattern. We're going to try going for another 20 seconds. I know what you're thinking. Who is in control of her watch? It's me. Woohoo! And rest.
Oh,
That was tough.
it was tough.
Yes. Well done, gang. You're doing wonderful. Now remember, if you need to do some recovery breathing now to bring your heart rate down, to get your breathing back under control, we're doing our best to breathe out through pursed lips and then breathe in. Even with you're out of breath, it might look more like until it starts slowing down and you can start taking those deeper breaths.
Still suffering from turkey overdose.
Too much tryptophan, hey? Too much
Yeah, I think
turkey.
that's what it is.
The turkey overdose. It's making you a little bit sleepy, is it? That's
Quite a
okay.
lot, actually.
There you go. All right, gang. And then some of you need to actually just keep moving at a low intensity to help you recover. So remember, you're always welcome just to keep your hands moving, keep your feet moving, whatever feels best for you, okay? Now, exciting news. I already said we're going to do a bit of strength today. Woo! As strong muscles. That helps your muscles uptake oxygen from the bloodstream, helps prevent falls. It helps you keep moving around your home, and it does help support your lungs from a muscle perspective. So our first exercise, we're going to do our super fun stand up and sit down. Remember, you can use your weight. So if those have been feeling a touch easier, I highly encourage you to use your weight. And remember, if you're not comfortable standing all the way up, then what we are doing is we're just shifting forward in our seat, pushing our feet in the ground to tighten up our legs, and then relaxing. We're going to do 10 to 15. So remember, you are in charge of that number. Find something that's challenging yet doable and go. So you're either standing all the way up, all the way down without plopping. If you find you're coming down and rocking back to rock forward again, boy, we got to go a bit slower. So down slow and then up, down slow and then up. Balance that invisible water glass on your head. Otherwise, we're leaning forward. Yeah, push those feet into the ground and then relax. Push those feet into the ground and then relax. Remember, gang, trying to grip the ground with your toes, tighten up those glutes to help you stand up. Or even if you're just doing our seated option, push those toes into the ground and clench your glutes. Those are your bum muscles.
We lift our bums off the chair.
You don't even have to get your bum out of the chair, fine, but do whatever is challenging yet doable for you. If it feels challenging and doable to just shift out of the seat and then sit back down, awesome. If that feels a bit too challenging, then really just focus on pushing your feet down into the ground. You don't even have to lift up, and then you relax. So it's pushing my feet down into the ground as if I'm going to stand up, and then I relax. And you should feel those muscles all tighten up as you do that. Now, remember, I gave you that number, and I'm very bad at counting, so keep track of what your number is.
20.
Eric, that's the one thing you're going to learn super quickly is nobody here trusts my math and counting skills. and for good reason.
Yes.
Yes. All right, dream team, you can rest there. Now everyone is going to need their band. And if you don't have a stretchy band, feel free to grab your weight. Or if you are just using your arms and legs today without weight, then that's all good. Just copy the movement. Now, if you've got your stretchy band, it's going to go around the bottom of your feet. And I know quite a few of you are familiar with this exercise. It's so good for strengthening your upper back muscles to help you open up through the chest so that we can take that deeper breath in. All we're going to do is we're going to pull our elbows back. Think about squeezing your shoulder blades together. We want that chest to open up and slowly bring your hands back towards your feet. So it's pull the elbows back, slowly bring them back towards your feet. Pull and slowly relax. Pull, slowly relax. If you need it more challenging, well, the lower you hold on the band, the tighter that band gets, and the more you have to pull it. Remember, it's helpful to breathe out as you pull that band towards you. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. I think that's 8, but it's probably been more. But extra is good. We're going to get extra strong. We're going to do 2 more just for fun. And last one. And rest. Good working. Now, right from there, you can use either your band in the same spot, or you can use your weight. This one, it's very easy to do seated or standing. We're just going to do a bicep curl. So that's rotating your palm to face forward, pulling your hand up to bend your elbow, and then down, and then switch. So my palm is facing my thigh. I turn it to face forwards. I pull my hand up, bending my elbow, and slowly bring it back down. So I curl up and down, nice and controlled. Up and down. Once again, you are more than welcome to do this standing. If you're going to be standing on the band, I just encourage you to remember that's going to affect your balance potentially. So just be careful, you're standing on a band. Remember, you can breathe out as you pull that band up. There we go. And 3, 2, 1. Rest. Now, we're going to take a short rest because some of you need just to focus on catching your breath. Some of you actually need a little bit of movement to help you recover. So those of you that do, we're just going to lightly march. So remember, this is optional. If you need to focus on just your breathing, grabbing a sip of water, then I encourage you to do that. Now is a great time to check your oximeter if you've got one at home. So see what your oxygen numbers are at, what your pulse is at. And maintain that steady breathing pattern. Now, if you are checking your oximeter, 2 things you might notice. You might notice that, geez, I felt more tired than what my numbers are indicating. If that's the case, then that's just because your heart and lungs don't have to work as hard in a strength exercise as they do in a cardio exercise. So while your body still works hard, your muscles work hard, and they get fatigued and tired, it won't spike up your heart rate the same way. And some of you might notice you don't lose as much, your oxygen number doesn't drop as much. Some of you, it still might drop with strength exercises, and that usually indicates either your muscles need to get more practice at grabbing up that oxygen from the bloodstream so that they can use it. Or that could sometimes just be a case of a bad sleep. Might be having a struggling breathing day today. And relax there. Well done. We get to repeat our 3 exercises. What was the first one?
Oh, sit to
Sit to
stand.
stand.
The sit to stands. Woo! So remember, you
Forget
can
it.
grab your weight. I know, I'm never gonna let you forget those.
No.
How mean. I just want you all to have super strong knees. Now, remember, if you've actually got sore knees and they got sore during that first exercise, 2 adjustments you can make. 1, you can focus on just our seated version. So again, we're just rocking out of the seat, either just pushing the feet down or rocking out of the seat slightly. That usually puts less stress on the knee if you're having struggles with some either arthritis or any of the ligaments being sore. Or you can lean forward to come up out of your chair. That makes your hips take over some of the knee work. Though if you do not have knee pain, I encourage you to come straight up and down, because that is better practice for both your core and those leg muscles. 10 to 15, gang. Again, I encourage you, try to not use your hands if you can, or use them minimally. Focus on tightening up your core, tightening up your glutes to help you stand up. Because remember, the intention of an exercise, the amount of intention we put in has more benefits. Same with just pushing your feet into the ground and then relaxing. If we intentionally try to clench all the muscles in our legs, we're going to have more benefit from it. Maintain that breathing pattern, gang. It is helpful to breathe out as you stand up. Press those toes into the ground. Tighten your glutes. Say a quick prayer at the top. You're halfway through your exercises today. And I really hope you guys were counting.
Because you're lost.
Well, geez, when we're all doing slightly different things and at different timing, that's why I give you the number 10 to 15.
15.
Woo!
Yep.
Some of you might even sneak in a couple extra, and that's just fine. There we go. Now, once you are done those, and again, if you need to catch your breath in between, that's super, super important. You take that time, because this class is about what is best for you, okay? Now, that second exercise had the band. What movement are we doing, gang?
Go back.
The back.
We're pulling it.
And the,
That's right.
yeah.
And this is commonly called a rowing exercise, which is perfect because boating weather is just around the corner. Now, for some,
Yeah.
all I've got is a canoe, but at least I've got a paddle.
That's good.
Thank you.
Come across the street.
Now, pull those elbows back, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and slowly relax.
Have you had any canoe races, Jill?
No, I just got a canoe a year ago. And I mean, I did it sporadically when I was a kid, but it's certainly, I'm certainly not skilled at it. I just paddle with a lot of gusto, and apparently that's working too hard and not smart enough.
Worst sunburn I ever had was out with my brother in a canoe.
There you go. That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you a quick story about canoeing. I went about 2 years ago with some friends of mine up to Myrtle Lake, which is in the kind of Wells Gray Provincial Park area, close to Clearwater.
Yeah.
And beautiful place. And I hadn't been canoeing since I was a kid at like a summer camp. I didn't know what I was doing. My one friend goes, "Oh, just you go into the back of the canoe, you're in charge of steering." I had no idea what that meant. So I just said, "Sure, that sounds great." Well, here I am, guys, paddling like a maniac. We're going to switch to our bicep curls so that palm faces forward and come up. So here I am at the back of this canoe paddling, and then the canoe starts turning one way. Now I'm switching and paddling the other way. And I'm doing this for about 2 hours because we paddled across the lake and it was so windy. We thought we were going to capsize. And then we went camping for 2 nights. Now, on the way back, she goes, "Well, do you want me to go at the back and steer now, or do you want to go at the front?" I'll go, "Well, I'll go at the front because, might as well try it." She goes, "Okay, well, this should be easier. I grew up canoeing on the ocean, so I'm really good at steering. Why didn't you just use the J stroke?" And I go, "The what now?" And so my friend is a experienced canoeer and just hung me out to dry in the back of the canoe. Boy, oh boy. As I'm paddling the front, she's going, "Well, why aren't you just doing the J stroke?" "The what?" "Well, you just paddle like this. Didn't you know that?" "No."
Me and my brother-in-law were both were in Weaver Lake fishing. And we thought we hit something in the back. We both turned around and the canoe just went zing.
Oh no. Because you
And
both
off we
turned the
go with
same
all our
way.
all our fishing.
Oh, geez. And rest.
You must have zigzagged across the lake the way you were doing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they tell you work smarter, not harder. Boy, it applies to canoeing too. Now remember, this is your chance to catch your breath. If you're feeling really, really good, then you are welcome to march with me. This is optional based on how you are feeling today and right now. But we are maintaining our steady breathing pattern. And don't worry, it'll be really hard for me to tip into the lake. Our canoe is quite large. It's a hunting canoe.
Oh, wow. That'll help.
Yeah, we bought it used and the ad said big enough for a well-dressed moose. And we thought that was a funny joke. And we were imagining little mooses with a tuxedo and hat. And apparently it turns out that's a hunting term.
Me and my brother-in-law had one of those Pit River canoe rentals when we went over.
Oh, geez. That's brutal. Yeah, you got to be so careful. That's for sure.
Luckily, we were in really shallow water.
Oh, good. That's perfect. Then you can just stand up and now all's good. There we go, gang. Our goal is to keep marching for 20 more seconds if you can. Although remember, this is supposed to be a bit more of a recovery. I do not want you tuckered out. You should not feel exhausted at the end of the marching. That's a sign that you needed to just stop and breathe instead. And rest. Great job, team. I have forgotten to remind you up till this point, but please make sure you're taking sips of water throughout. Really, really good to stay hydrated, especially if you tend to get cramping muscles or really tight muscles. Often being well hydrated helps that a lot. Now we're going to move on to 3 different exercises. The first one, once again, you can use your weight. Hopefully I haven't misplaced mine. Now for this movement, we're going to do a hinge pattern. So I'm going to show you the movement standing first, so you understand what's happening at the hips. And then I will show you what it looks like seated. So when we're standing, the hips go back first. The knees can be slightly bent. And we're just lowering our weight to about our knees, and then we're pulling up. Now you'll notice none of the movement came from my lower back. It's all coming through the hips, and then I come back up. Okay, now when we're seated, it's the same thing, except we're going to get our knees out wide, toes pointed out. That's going to take some pressure off the lower back. And same thing, you're reaching down. Even if you don't go very far, gang, it's very important that you don't feel this in your lower back. And now we're just tightening up our glutes to pull ourselves back up. Good. And again, bending over can make some of you feel breathless. So just keep that chest up and open. And again, the key thing here is activating those muscles with a lot of intention throughout the movement. So even if we lean forward just that little ways, squeezing our glutes super, super tight to pull you back up is important. There we go. Remember, it is helpful to breathe out through pursed lips as we come back up. There, I'm just keeping an eye on making sure you're kind of all getting into the pattern. Those of you that I can see enough of, you know, not just head and shoulders, I'm seeing a lot of good hinge patterning here. So that's awesome. Bending forward through the hips. Keep those knees out wide if you're seated. And getting your knees out wide when you're standing, that can help take pressure off the lower back as well. And rest. Okay, now how did that feel, gang?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, awesome.
Good.
Awesome, awesome. Because you'll hear people sometimes tell you, you know, oh, you shouldn't be doing any bending forward. And a lot of people are nervous about that movement pattern. But the key thing there is if you keep your back straight and learn to move just through your hips, that's actually really good for your lower back. It helps you strengthen your back. Now, some days if you're someone who gets back pain and on a day where you have pain in your back, that can be a movement that doesn't feel comfortable, but because it's already flared up. But it's a good movement to practice, okay? Now, grab your band. That band is going to go around your back.
And what are the arms?
I know we've done lots of chest presses, guys. We're building those chest muscles. All right. Oops. There we go. All right, gang, it's around your back. It comes forward underneath your armpits. And all we're going to do is we're going to push that band out in front and then slowly bring it back. If you feel like you've got too much slack on the band, then you can tighten it up. It can be helpful to breathe out as you push those arms forward. And one thing I want you to pay attention to is it's just your arms doing the movement and our back isn't touching the backrest. So we're not pushing our body forward. We're just pushing our hands forward and then bringing them back with control. Pushing your hands forward, tightening that core. That means that belly. Think about tightening that belly button. Slowly bring those hands back. Push your hands forward, slowly bring them back. There we go, gang. And if you can, we're going to do 5 more. Breathing out, 4. Breathing out, 3. And 2. Remember, tighten up that core. 1. Woohoo! Woo! That was awesome, guys. Some of you, woo.
You're the only one going, woo.
It's all the coffee. I'm just joking. I only have coffee a couple times a week, and it's for all of your safety. All right, last exercise in this set, gang. We're grabbing the band. This time, one arm reaches across your body to hold the band there. And now this arm is going to pull the band straight down. So if I turn to the side, you can see that this arm, I'm just straightening the elbow, pulling it straight down. My shoulder doesn't move. And then slowly bring it back up. Pulling down, slowly bringing it back up. Pull, slowly come up. Pull, slowly come up. There we go. Great job, gang. This is working the backs of your upper arm. It's a group of muscles called your triceps. There we go, team. 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides. So now your other arm reaches across to hold the band in place. Turn to the side. You can see what my arm is doing. And our other arm is pulling it straight down and slowly coming up. Pull it down, slowly come up. Think about tightening your core to help give you strength in this movement. There we go. Keep up your steady breathing, gang. And let's aim for 3 more. 2 and 1. Awesome, awesome, gang. Now we're running close to stretch time, but we should be able to get through those 3 exercises one more time. So remembering that first one of this new set, you will need your weight. You can be standing or seated. Yep, and I encourage you, get your knees and toes out wide, sitting up nice and tall or standing up nice and tall. Lean forward through your hips and then pull yourself back up using your glute muscles. And remember, if anything at any time throughout class doesn't feel right or is sore or hurts, I strongly encourage that you bring it to my attention so I can adjust things for you. Good. Remember, it is helpful to breathe out as you pull yourself back up. Those of you that have been attending our Wednesday education sessions, you might find yourself pushing your toes into the ground as you use those glutes to pull you back up. Yeah, there we go. That's awesome. Because we want our body working together.
Those toe instructions were really good, Jill.
Yes, they
The
were.
ones
That's
you-
awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mary. I'm glad they helped you.
yeah, they're
Yes.
really excellent.
Good. I'm so glad we get to build on them again on this Wednesday. We got 3 more, gang. We got another 2 weeks of focusing more on the toes and knees and hips,
Good.
building up on each other. And then for the new month, the month of May, we're going to shift to a different topic. And rest. Great job, gang. Now you need that band again. We're going to put it around your back and they come forward underneath your armpits. And then we are pushing our hands forward, bringing them back with control, and repeat. Push, bring them back slowly. That slow return to your starting position is normally called your eccentric strength, where the muscle is lengthening as it still has to work hard. And that's where a lot of strength improvements can be made, because you have to fight hard to bring those arms back under control. It's really easy just to snap them back, but boy, it takes effort. Bring them back slow and then push against the resistance again. Remember, it is helpful to breathe out as you push your arms out. There we go. You guys are doing awesome.
You have some tension on your bands when you're at that rested position?
I have a little bit. If I bring my elbows too far back, I don't have much. I don't have tension at all. But it just depends on your band, right? If you've got a band that's pretty tough to push all the way out, then when you bring it all the way back, it's okay to have some slack there. And then as you get stronger and stronger, you have tension here. But our muscles are weakest at end ranges of motion. So we're super strong halfway out. We're weaker when our arms are fully extended and when they're fully pulled back in the starting position. So a little bit of slack here, and then as you push them out, now there's tension. That's a great way to start to build up that strength, okay? Rest there. We've got our last exercise, gang, and then we're on to our stretching. And boy, Ron, we didn't do any specific abdominal exercises today, but I hope you were clenching your core tight throughout.
Yeah.
Good. That
Yes.
arm reaches across, and we are pulling that other arm straight down and then slowly coming up. Pulling it straight down, slowly coming up. Pull and up. Pull and up. Pull up. Pull and up. Pull and up. There we go, team. Pull that band down, slowly come up. Remember, it's helpful to breathe out as you pull it down. And switch arms. And pull. There we go, team. Pull that band down, slowly come up. Remember, it is helpful to breathe out as you pull down. That shoulder doesn't move at all. I did forget to remind you earlier, gang, but anytime we're gripping the band, if that gets uncomfortable or sore for your hand, you are welcome to just wrap that band around your hand so you don't have to grip it as tight. 3, 2, 1. Relax there, team. Put that band away. Well done.
Lift the arms.
Yes. Full body strength today, guys. How do you feel?
Good.
I like it.
Anytime.
Woo!
Great.
That's awesome. And like I said, while it is important to work your heart and lungs as well with that cardio exercise, the strength exercise usually tends to not make you as breathless or puffed. So it's kind of nice to feel like you worked hard without being as out of breath as you probably normally feel during that more cardio exercise, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so hands on your belly. We're gonna do just a couple breathing exercises to bring our heart rate back down, our breathing back down before we stretch. So we're going to breathe in as we pull those hands apart, opening up that chest, breathing out through pursed lips to bring those hands back in. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Last one in. Last one out. There we go. Shake out those hands.
No problem. with-
Pull up that elbow. Get it back. There we go. Might as well give yourself a pat on the back. Your hands right there. You worked hard. And switch sides.
Someone's a shoulder killer for me,
Does that hurt your shoulder?
very much. I have
Okay.
a sore shoulder to begin with.
Okay, yeah, so we don't want to do anything that makes it more sore, right? So what you can do instead is either bring it across, so a bent elbow, and gently pull it across. If this hurts your shoulder, try pulling it across gently and tell me how that feels.
Feels better. Yeah.
That still hurts? Okay, so now this is one everyone can try. Grab underneath your chair. So grab the seat of your chair and then gently pull up on it slightly and tilt your head away. Be very, very gentle when stretching, gang. So hold and breathe. And then slowly relax. Roll out the wrist and then switch. So I'm grabbing underneath the seat. I'm gently pulling up and away from the seat and slightly tilting my head away. Does that feel better on your shoulder?
Not bothering me now
Good.
on this one.
Does that feel like a little bit of a pull, a little bit of a stretch?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good.
It's great.
Perfect. Yeah, good. And slowly relax there. Roll out the wrist.
How'd you make out with your tournament?
Oh, they had so much fun. So much fun. Straighten one leg out in front of you, reach towards your toes. They played some really tough competition, and I knew that going in. Almost to the point where I wondered why we got put in that division. You know, it's
It makes you
I
better.
well, I'm all for
It does make
playing.
you better.
I agree that I'm all for playing against teams that are better than you so you can get better. But there's a point where they're so much better that it kind of interferes with your learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Modern
So I feel like we were a little bit too far into that area. But they still learned lots. They still got some good things out of it. Switch legs. So once you're in it, all you can do is do your best, and that's what they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Prayer.
Exactly.
Was it an age difference or just that they had played longer?
Not an age difference, just a level difference. So what you've got is you've got your city teams or your district teams, and they're the kind of top players in the district that will play against other districts. So in Kelowna, you'll get some of the top players in Kelowna playing against Vernon and Penticton and Kamloops. And then you've got your regional team. And our regional team takes the best players from all those cities, those who want to play, and you play against those the top teams from those clubs in Vancouver. So it's just below provincial, and then the provincial teams pick players from that level. Does that make sense? My players don't get selected for provincial teams. We're a division below that, but we were playing against players that get selected for provincial teams.
What sport were you playing?
This is soccer.
Soccer.
That's right.
football.
So drop that leg. Yeah, football. Absolutely.
How is rugby different to soccer?
Oh, quite a bit.
Much rougher.
Yeah, so rugby, Clancy, is a sport where you hold the ball and you can only toss it either sideways or behind. And players now are tackling you to stop your run.
Like killer football.
It's a rough game.
That's right.
Boy, that's brutal, eh?
Yeah, well, yeah, my dad played pretty high level until he was almost in his 40s. Turn, other leg. Well, you don't have to turn in your seat, gang. It's just dropping that leg behind you.
Well, Jill, you know the expression, rugby is played by gentlemen, football is played by hooligans.
That's true. Rugby is known as the gentleman's sport compared to, and by football, they mean soccer, but that's what soccer is called in every other part of the world. Oh yeah, so funny. Well, and people, when they find out I coach soccer and they don't play soccer, they try to tease me about, soccer players always on the ground. And I always go, not the ladies. Not women's soccer. You got to watch the ladies play. All right, dream team. Let's just finish with 2 deep breaths. Try to breathe in for a longer time. So aim for 3 to 6 seconds, and then try to exhale for 3 to 6 or 7 seconds. So, and I give such a big range because it really does depend on you. So breathing in, slow and deep. Once you're full of air, try to pause, hold it, and now steadily breathe it out.
You have to watch the women in any sport.
Oh, geez. They've actually, women's sport has really taken off. We've got some great female athletes. Breathing in and out.
It was the women's soccer team that was out of the medal, from China.
Now remember, gang, that deep breathing, if that flares up any coughing or dizziness or breathlessness, then our lungs aren't quite used to that exercise. So you do want to do it for a shorter amount of time. And as we get better at it, your lungs get used to it. We can go for longer and longer. Okay.
Well, you mentioned that.
Yeah, I should have mentioned it right before, but now you know for next time too. And that's a really good thing to practice. So find what your limit is. If it's only 2 seconds in and out, great. Practice that 10 to 20 breaths every day. And next week or the week after, you'll find it's up to 3 seconds and then up to 4 seconds. Okay. But it is really good practice for you to do that. Now, I hope to see you all tomorrow at 1
Yes.
o'clock.
Okay.
We'll be here.